Hey you! Yeah, you. You're playing Lost Ark, right? Yeah. Wait, not yet? Why not? Oh, you haven't picked a class yet because it's such a daunting decision? Maybe you don't care so much about class fantasy as you do about the effectiveness of the class, knowing if it is actually good and what specifically it is good at. First things first, every class in this game is good, and everyone is perfectly viable for every piece of content. There are simply some that excel in certain areas for specific reasons. More than anything, it matters what content you care about the most. Are you more into dungeons and guardian raids? Are you planning to do loads of PvP?
¿Por qué no los dos?
Today I'll be giving you a ranking based both on my personal opinions and experiences, as well as the spreadsheet compiled by OmniPower to give you an idea of the best melee class in PvE, the best ranged class in PvE, the best melee class in PvP, the best ranged class in PvP, and then my overall all-around best class if you just want to be absolutely nuts at everything. Why will I not be ranking supports and tanks in PvE? Well, there's only one real tank, and there are two supports with drastically different playstyles. Paladin is sustained healing over time, and Bard is more bursty healing. Pick your poison, really, but I'll say personally, I definitely have a soft spot for my Holy Warrior of Light. As far as the best melee class for PvE, for me it has to be the Berserker. If you want to be the most impactful melee in a group, you probably want to be the tank, and you probably want to play Gunlancer. But if you want to just be absolutely menacing as a destructive force, few things can do the job anywhere close to as well as a Berserker can. In PvE content, provided that you have the right lineup around you, Berserker can do some of the highest damage in the game, both AoE and single target for bosses. It can take a few hits to the face due to the armor, you have to be able to position well enough to avoid ending your attacks early and get your back attacks as well, but other than that, this thing just absolutely owns. You won't be the most useful to your party members as far as providing support in any sense, but that just isn't what a Berserker is for. A Berserker is for absolute raw damage. Depending on your endgame engravings, you can even forego a fair amount of your tankiness and just become a full-on glass cannon with an unbelievably massive slab of metal you dare to call a sword. The best ranged PvE class is the Artillerist, the massive cannon-wielding Goliath. Some people may disagree with me on this one, but this class is just sort of nuts because the only thing that you need to master is the thing that is the most important with every class in the game: positioning. As you play Lost Ark, you will slowly learn to understand the right place to stand in every important fight, and as you do, you'll learn how to best take advantage of the openings provided to you. In most endgame builds, Artillerist has no real ability to reposition outside of your basic dodge and movement speed, and instead relies on being pretty tanky combined with being able to predict when and where you can make the most of your mounted cannon mode, knowing which attacks you have to stop attacking to slowly run out of, and knowing which you can tank with a shield, all while firing off artillery shells, flamethrowers, and missile barrages. This thing has loads of single target damage, loads of multi-target damage, burst damage, sustained damage, crowd control. Genuinely, the only thing that it truly lacks is movement. So once you get good at movement and proper positioning in Lost Ark, this class is incredible. And as you may have guessed, being good at positioning and movement is a big trick to getting the most out of any class in Lost Ark to an extent, so any learning that you do on the Artillerist will only make you better with other classes too. For PvP, anyone who wants to get right up close to their opponent should honestly consider a Paladin. Even if you don't fancy yourself a support, a Paladin can still do a good amount of damage in PvP, not the highest, but what you trade off in damage, you gain in a metric shit ton of survivability, debuffs to your enemies that cause them to take more damage, and then in the team modes as well, if you do want to play those, your support ability will be absolutely massive even if you mostly focus on the damage dealing part of your character. The coolest part about Paladin support capabilities is it mostly just sort of happens in a circle around you. You don't have to run around and aim at friendlies and corral your friends into a place where you can be effective. You just run into the fight, stand there, make your friends stronger, make your enemies weaker, and live forever. And that's also what makes it good in the 1v1s, because your healing is almost passive. You can just keep attacking and you will take care of yourself. As far as a ranged class for PvP, my pick for the best has got to be the Gunslinger. This class is the female equivalent of the Deadeye class, but take note here that I do specifically mean the Gunslinger, as there are still a few differences between these classes, even as mirrors of each other. Most notably, the male version focuses more on close range, whereas the Gunslinger at max level in the proper builds really likes to take advantage of the rifle at long range. In PvP, range is an advantage. The longer you can stay out of range of a melee attacker, the better chance that you have. Therefore, the longer range that you can attack from and be effective, the better. Gunslinger just happens to have that ranged advantage, a good amount of mobility, and a good amount of crowd control abilities as well to help keep you at a distance. All in all, this class is a perfect personification of a ranged damage dealer in PvP. Just keep your enemies at a distance and you will win, simple as that. Then we come to my overall pick of the litter, top of the barrel, that one alien from Toy Story.
I have been chosen.
The best well-rounded class across PvE and PvP. And put quite simply, this one is the Deathblade. If you've been playing the game, then you've definitely seen people playing Deathblade all over the place, and there is a very good reason for that. In both PvE and PvP, the Deathblade is very, very good. In fact, when played to the skill ceiling, it is better than either of my recommendations for Melee, PvE, or PvP. But what makes Deathblade so good overall is that it has a very low barrier to entry. The skill ceiling is immense, but if you put a Deathblade in the hands of a 4-year-old chimpanzee named Beelzebub Zombopolis, he'd probably wipe the floor with any enemy you put in front of him, be it a dungeon boss or even just your friendly neighborhood bard. The damage it does is insane. It isn't made of paper, it can dash around as needed mid-fight, it can lock enemies down, and generally no one will complain to have a Deathblade in their party in a group activity of any kind. If you want to ask me the more personal question here, which is what am I playing myself so far on the Western servers, right now it is Paladin, with plans to launch an Artillerist in the near future, and honestly probably like 5 more things. God, I need more time in the day to play this game the amount that I want to. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur, and this has been my personal opinion on the best classes in Lost Ark. To recap, Berserker and Artillerist for PvE specifically, Paladin and Gunslinger for PvP specifically, and Deathblade as the overall champion of the bunch. Has this video helped you choose a class at all in Lost Ark, or at least your next class? Is this your first character, your second character, your third character? Be honest with me, how hooked on this game are you? Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.